Good day everyone. In this video lesson, I will teach you how to find the derivatives of algebraic functions using the basic rules on finding derivatives, the shortcut method. Because in the previous lesson, ang itinuro ko sa inyo kung paano kunin yung derivative ng algebraic functions gamit yung ating definition of the derivatives na ginagamitan ng limits, which is mas mahabang process, mas mahirap gawin lalo na sa mga rational functions. So in this video, makaka-relax na kayo ng konti dahil mas madali ang ating mga rules in finding the derivatives. To start, let us review first the symbols for the derivative. We have here dy over dx. We can also use derivative in terms of x of the function of x. We can also use y prime, or we can also use f prime of x. Lahat ng ito ay symbols for derivatives na pwede nating gamitin. For uniformity in this lesson, kapag yung algebraic function ay nakasulat sa y equals f of x in this form, gagamitan natin ng y prime as the derivative of the function of x. Kapag naman yung algebraic functions ay nakasulat sa f of x equals f of x, gagamit tayo ng f prime of x as the symbol for the derivative of the f of x. And then gagamit tayo ng dy over dx or y prime in finding implicit derivative na i-discuss natin sa susunod na mga lesson. Not in this video pa. To start with, ito yung pinaka-basic natin na rule, the derivative of a constant. So, laging tandaan lang. Lahat ng constant, let's say y equals c, ang kanilang derivative ay 0. So, basta constant, the derivative is 0. Example, y equals negative 320, y prime equals 0. So, napakadali. F of x equals 10, f prime of x or the derivative equals 0. Number 2, the derivative of a function of x or any variable, pwede rin naman kahit anong variable a to z. Example, y equals x. So, the derivative of that is 1. Other example, y equals t. The derivative or y prime is also 1. Number 2, f of s equals s. F prime of s or the derivative is also 1. O, napakadali. Rule number 3, derivative of a constant times a variable. Okay, from number 2, o dinagdagan lang natin ng constant. So, let's say y equals cx. The derivative of y or the y prime is just equal to c. Whatever the constant there, yun na yung derivative ng x. Example, y equals negative 5t. Variable natin dito ay t. So, the constant is, or the coefficient is negative 5. And the derivative is just equal to negative 5. Other example, f of x equals 6s. The f prime of s equals 6. Ang dali. Rule number 4, derivative of n power of x or any variable, kahit ano pwede, hindi lang x. Or the derivative of constant times the n power of x or any variable also. Like this, y equals x raised to the power of n. The derivative of this, the y prime equals n times x raised to the power of n minus 1. O lagi lang mag-subtract ng 1 sa exponent ng x. Or kung meron siyang constant na minultiply doon sa power of x, let's say y equals c times x to the n. So the derivative of that is just equal to n, the exponent, times the constant c times x raised to the power of n minus 1. So subtract din sa exponent. To make this very clear, we have here example. Number 1, y equals x to the 5. Okay, so walang constant dito or coefficient maliban sa 1. So the derivative or y prime is just equal to 5. Okay, that is the exponent n, 5 times x to the 4. 4 dahil nag-subtract na tayo ng 1 dun sa 5. O, ganun lang. Other example, f of x equals 4x cubed. Or this time, meron tayong literal coefficient dito na 4. Or we can also say this is also a constant. So the derivative of this, or the f prime of x equals, okay, diniretso ko na ha, shortcut nga eh. 3 times 4, that is 12, times x, and then raised to the power of 2. 2 na lang dahil minus 1 tayo dun sa 3. 3 minus 1, kaya 2. Okay, we have here more examples. Number 3, y equals 3 times x to the negative 5. So the answer is negative 15y. We have negative 5 here, the exponent, times 3 here is negative 15. X to the negative 6, dahil negative 5 ang exponent natin, minus 1 tayo dyan, since negative siya, minus 1, negative 6 ang kanyang result. And then for number 4, kapag ganito yung example natin, y equals 1 over x. O mas maganda kung itaas muna natin yung x, no? Law of exponent. Itataas natin yung x sa numerator, magiging negative ang kanyang exponent. So, igaganon muna natin siya. Magiging y equals x to the negative 1. Saka natin i-apply yung rule. We have now n equals negative 1 times 1 here na coefficient. So, that will become, the derivative is negative x raised to the power of negative 2. Negative 2 dahil negative 1 yan, minus 1 is negative 2. And finally, dahil negative yung ating exponent dito, kailangan natin siyang ibalik sa positive. So, from the law of exponent, ibabalik natin siya sa denominator para maging positive 2 yung kanyang exponent. Kasi yung given natin sa taas ay positive din ang exponent niya. So, dapat yung final answer must also be with positive exponent. So, finally, magiging negative of 1 over x squared. For number 5, ang given naman natin dito ay 4 square root of x. This is radical function. So, bago natin makuha yung kanyang derivative, pag ganito, kailangan i-change muna natin sa class sa exponential form. Equivalent ng square root of x ay x raised to the power of 1/2. Cube root of x is x to the 1/3. Fourth root of x is x to the 1/4. Ganun siya. So in this case, palitan muna natin siya ng exponential form. Magiging y equals 4x raised to 1/2 kasi nga square root. After this, pwede na natin kunin yung kanyang derivative. Ang n natin ngayon ay 1/2, and then we have here the literal coefficient 4. So, magiging 1/2 times 4. 1/2 of 4 is actually 2. So, we can have here 2x to the negative 1/2. Dahil mag-minus 1 tayo sa exponent, 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2. Or 1/2 minus 2 over 2. Gawin natin 2 over 2 para mas madali mag-subtract plus 2 over 2 is also 1. Ano? Denominator natin na ito, kaya minusan natin ng 2 over 2. Mas madali para maging similar fraction sila. So, 1/2 minus 2 over 2 is negative 1/2. And then, we have to make this negative 1/2. Dapat positive ang kanyang exponent. So, ilalagay natin siya sa denominator. Magiging 2 all over x to the 1/2. And finally, kasi ang ating given ay naka-radical form, so dapat ibalik natin yung x to the 1/2 sa radical. Ang equivalent dyan ay square root of x. So, magiging 2 over square root of x. Example number 6 here. So, medyo complicated na konti. Y equals 3 over 5 times cube root of x square. So, in this case, meron ng exponent din yung nasa loob ng radical. So, kapag pinalitan natin ito ng exponential form, magiging ito siya is x raised to the power of 2 over 3. Ano man yung kanyang exponent sa loob, yan yung magiging numerator ng kanyang exponent. So, 2 over 3. 3 pa rin yung index sa labas. So, we will change that first into exponential form. Magiging 3 over 5x raised to the power of 2 over 3. And then again, bago natin kunin ang derivative nito, itataas uli natin itong si x dun sa numerator para ma-apply natin yung rule. So, magiging 3 x to the negative 2/3. Dahil nasa denominator siya, pagdating niya sa numerator ay magiging negative na yung kanyang exponent. And then, pwede na natin gamitan ngayon ng rule ng ating derivative. Ang exponent natin ngayon ay negative 2/3. We have the coefficient here, 3 over 5. So, magiging negative 2/3 times 3 over 5. Ayan, so inisa-isa ko dito para makita talaga natin. Negative 2 over 3 times 3 over 5 x, and then we subtract 1 sa exponent. So again, pag mag-subtract 1, mas madali. Tingnan natin yung denominator, 3. So, subtract kayo ng 3 over 3, that is also equal to 1, like what I did here. So, negative 2/3 minus 3 over 3. So, negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5 over 3 yan. This one, pwede makancel itong 3 dito, and then yung 3 dyan sa numerator, magiging negative 2/5 na lang to. So, it will become negative 2/5 x to the negative 5 over 3. And then, dahil bawal nga itong ating negative na exponent, kailangan natin siyang ibalik sa denominator para maging positive yung kanyang exponent. So, magiging negative 2 over 5x to the positive 5 over 3. And then finally, dahil ang ating given ay radical, so dapat ibalik uli natin sa radical itong si x raised to the power of 5 over 3. Magiging cube root of x to the 5th. So yung numerator natin dito na 5 sa exponent, yun yung magiging exponent sa loob x to the 5. And then yung 3 sa labas, yan yung magiging index ng radical. Magiging cube root of x to the 5th. In this case, kapag mas malaki yung exponent sa loob, this one, 5, kesa sa index na 3, ibig sabihin, pwede pa nating i-simplify ito. Now, we just subtract or divide 5, divide 3, the answer is 1. Ibig sabihin, pwede nating ilabas yung isang x. Or simply minus natin, 5 minus 3, 2. So, ilabas natin yung x, may iwan yung difference nila na 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. Or simply divide. 5 divide 3, the answer is 1. Sabihin, pwedeng ilabas yung isang x. Tapos ang remainder niyan ay 2. Yun yung may iwan sa exponent na nasa loob ng x. So, magiging 2 all over 5 times x times cube root of x square. Ito na yung ating magiging final answer. For rule number 5, we have the derivative of the sum or difference of functions. Ito ay pinagsama lang ng mga terms ng functions. So, may plus or minus. Like this, y equals f of x plus or minus g of x. So, the derivative of this is just equal to the derivative of each term. So, ibig sabihin, kunin lang natin yung derivative ng bawat term, i-add or i-plus, i-minus lang din natin, yun na yung magiging derivative ng buong function. We have examples. Number 1, y equals 2x to the 5 minus 3x squared plus 65. Ayan, so in this case, meron tayong 3 terms. Ibig sabihin yan, 3 different functions yan. Una, 2x to the 5. Pangalawa, negative 3x squared. Pangatlo, plus 65. So, kunin lang natin ang derivative niyan, isa-isa. Yun na yung magiging derivative nilang lahat. So, we have, okay, so 2x to the 5, ang derivative niyan ay, okay, 5 times 2 is 10x, then 5 minus 4, 1 is 4. So, magiging, yung first term, the derivative niya is 10x to the 4. Second term, ang derivative niyan ay 6x dahil 2 times 3 is 6. X, subtract tayo ng exponent, 2 minus 1, kaya 1 na lang yung exponent na maiwan dito. Pag 1 na, no need to write that. Understood na pag may variable na walang exponent, it is 1 yung exponent niya. And then the third term here, because this is constant, the derivative is 0, so no need to add 0 here. Wag na. Understood na yan na 0 yan. And that is the final answer. For number 2, we have here 10x cubed minus 5x minus 3x to the negative 2 plus 6x to the negative 3. So, ganun din. Kunin natin yung derivative ng bawat isa dito. This is equal to, okay, so 3 times 10 is 30. X square. Nag-minus 1 tayo sa exponent. Ganun lang, no? Minus, o yung derivative ng 5x. Dahil x lang yan, is just 5. And then the derivative of this, since negative 2 yung exponent niya, we have negative 2 times negative 3 here, kaya naging positive 6. X, and then exponent niya is negative 3. Kasi negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. Basta negative yung exponent, kapag nag-subtract tayo ng 1, parang ma-add lang siya, no? Pero magiging negative. Negative 3. Okay. The last term here, the derivative niya is naging eto na. Dahil negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. X to the negative 4. Dahil nag-subtract tayo ng negative 1 sa exponent niya. So this is now the final answer. Dahil nga yung given natin ay naka-negative exponent naman, yung sabi ko rin na kailangan natin ibalik sa positive, no need na. Kasi yung given is already in negative form or hindi siya simplified. So, pwede na rin ito nasagot. Pero pwede nyo pa rin i-simplify kung gusto nyo. But in this example, okay na ito. Number 3, we have here, medyo pinakomplicate lang konti. Y equals 5 over x squared minus x over 2 plus 3x cubed over 7 minus 1 over 4x squared. So, pag ganito yung mga example niya, lahat ng variable nga in the denominator class, mas madali kung ilalagay muna natin siya sa numerator para mas madaling i-apply yung rule. So, itong first term and then the last term na may x sa baba, ilagay muna natin yan sa numerator using the law of exponents. So, magiging negative yung kanilang exponents. Magiging ganito na, okay? So, 5x to the negative 2, minus yun pa rin, plus yun pa rin, minus, itinaas lang natin yung variable x. And then after that, pwede na natin gamitin yung rule. Okay, we can now get the derivative for each term. For the first term, the derivative of this is negative 2 times 5, that is negative 10x. Okay, negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3, yung kanyang magiging exponent. So, this will become like this. Negative 10x to the negative 3. And then minus yung pangalawang term, x over 2. So, obviously, x lang yun. At saka ang kanyang coefficient or constant na meron dito ay negative 1/2. Kaya the derivative is negative 1/2. Plus, yung sa third term, kikita natin na, okay, the derivative of that is 3 times 3 is 9x. So, minus 1 sa exponent. So, 2. 9x square. Copy lang yung denominator na 7. Ganon. Ganon din dito, no? X over 2. The derivative of x is 1. Just copy the denominator. And then, for the last term, ganon din. We can have negative 2 here. Times, okay, kasi negative dito class, meaning negative 2 times negative 1 there, kaya naging positive siya. And then, x to the negative 3. Dahil nga negative 2 minus 1 yan, kaya negative 3. All over 4, just copy the denominator. And then, i-reduce kung may dapat na i-reduce tulad nito. 2 over 4 can be reduced to 1/2. And then, yung mga negative exponent, dahil ngayong given natin ay naka-reduce to simplified form, ganoon din yung final answer. Itong negative 10x to the negative 3, gawin natin positive 3 yan siya by putting that back to the denominator. Ganoon din itong x to the negative 3 here. Okay? Ilalagay natin sa denominator para maging positive siya. So, the final answer is this one. Number 6. The derivative of the product of two functions. Okay, this is very known as the product rule. We have here the formula. Y equals U times V. Yung U natin dito is a function of X. Yung V is also a function of X. And U and V must be differentiable. Meaning, pwede nating makuha yung kanilang derivatives. Each of the U and V. Then the derivative of this product is just equal to U times the derivative of V plus derivative of U times V. So, ito lang. We have here examples on number 1. Y equals the quantity 3x to the 5 minus 2x times the quantity of 2x squared minus 4x minus 3. So, we let U and V muna here. We let U equals this, yung first factor natin sa product na yan. And then V, itong pangalawang factor sa ating product. And then, kunin natin yung derivative ng u na to at saka yung v. The derivative of u here is 15x to the 4 minus 2. Oh, parang naging ganyan. So, alam nyo na yan. It's 5 times 3, 15x. Subtract 1 sa 5, kaya 4. And then 2x here. Dahil x lang yan, derivative of that is just the coefficient. So, minus 2. Ganon din, we also get the derivative of the v. So, b prime equals, okay, 4x dahil 2 times 2, that's 4x. 2 minus 1, o 1 na lang ang exponent niya. Minus the derivative of 4x is just 4. And then after that, nakuha na natin yung u prime, b prime. Alam na rin natin kung ano yung u at saka v. I-substitute natin ngayon yan dun sa formula na to. Okay? So, magiging, ito na. U is 3x to the 5 minus 2x. Nandun ha, nandun. Times b prime, 4x minus 4. Andun. So, parang i-partner lang natin ganyan, cross partner. And then plus, based on the formula, u prime, this one, okay, times the v, which is nandun. Kaya 2x squared minus 4x. Ngayon, i-simplify lang natin ito. I-multiply natin itong first product, and then i-multiply din natin ang second product, and then i-add natin yung kanilang result for the simplified answer. Okay, so nire-write ko lang yung nandun. And then we will multiply this using FOIL method. 3x to the 5th times 4x plus 3x to the 5 times negative 4 plus negative 2x times 4x plus negative 2x times 4. So, i-remember nyo lang yung inyong multiplication of binomials. This is the result. Okay, so yung FOIL ang ginamit natin dito, class. 3x to the 5th times 4x. Ayun na, 12x to the 6. Add the exponents ha, kapag parehong x. And then, second term natin is 3x to the 5 times negative 4 here. Kaya negative 12x to the 5. Then, third term, negative 2x times 4x is negative 8x squared. Last term here, negative 2x times negative 4 is positive x. Ito naman, ganun din. 15x to the 4 times 2x squared. The answer is 30x to the 6. And then next, 15x to the 4 times negative 4x is negative 60x to the 5. And then next term is negative 2 times 2x squared is negative 4x squared. And then last term, negative 2 times negative 4x is positive x. And then we will combine all the like terms. Tingnan natin. 12x to the 6 here, combine natin sa 30x to the 6. Lahat ng may pareho ng exponent, iyon ang mga like terms, i-combine natin. So, 12 times plus 30 is 42. Kaya 42x to the 6. And then yung lahat naman na may 5, no? Pasunod. 12x to the 5, negative. And then, eto, negative 60x to the 5, negative din. So, add them, 60 and 12, kaya naging negative 72x to the 5. And then, lahat naman na may square. We have 8x squared, then negative 4x squared here, kaya negative 12x squared. Okay, kulang ito, may karugtong pa dapat ito. We have here 8x plus 8x, dapat meron pa ditong 16x. May karugtong pa ito na plus 16x. Example number 2, we can have here y equals 4x squared plus x times 2x cubed minus 4. So, ganun din. Let u, ito yung ating u, and then ito yung ating v. Ayan, u, 4x squared plus x, and v, 2x cubed minus 4. And then, kunin natin ang derivative ng u and v na ito. U prime, ito na yung derivative niya, 8x dahil 2 times 4 is 8x, then minus 1 sa exponent, kaya 1 na lang. Plus, derivative ng x ay 1. And then, ganun din, kunin natin ang derivative nitong v, b prime, kaya magiging 2 times 3, that's 6, x squared dahil 3 minus 1 is 2. Derivative ng 4, 0, kaya no need to include 0. Now, substitute into the formula. This one, the product rule. We can have u is ito na, 4x squared plus x. Nandun yung u. Times b prime, o b prime here, 6x squared, dahil nandun yung b prime. Plus, u prime natin is 8x plus 1. Nandito. Times v. O, nasan yung v natin is nandito. 2x cubed minus 4. Ayan. And then, ganon din, we multiply this. 4x squared times 6x squared is 24x to the 4. Ayan. Second term, x to the 6x squared is 6x to the 3. Oh, sorry class, mali na. This should be, i-correct natin. This should be 3. Okay, hindi yan siya 2, ha? X times 6x squared is 6x to the 3. Next, plus 8x times 2x squared is 16x to the 4. And then 8x times negative 4, negative 32x. FOIL method yan. We have here 1 times 2x is 2x to the cube, and then last is 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And then, we will combine like terms. So, nagmali na yung sagot kanina. Isusulat ko na lang. This will become... Okay, so lahat ng may exponent na 4, i-combine natin. 24 plus 16 is 40 x to the 4. And then lahat ng may 3 naman, dalawang may 3 dito, 2x cube at saka 6x cube, magiging 8x cube. 8x cube plus yung may square naman, walang may square dyan. So, ibig sabihin ito na yung walang, yung x na lang, so 32. Okay, this is not plus, kundi minus 32x. And then last yung constant, wala nang kasama, so minus 4. Ayan, sinulot ko na lang class dahil nagmali yung exponent natin dito kanina. So this is the final answer. Okay? Rule number 7. Derivative of the quotient of two functions. So this is very known as quotient rule. We have y equals u over v, where u is the function of x, v is also the function of x, and it must not be equal to 0, yung ating denominator. Kundi, magiging undefined siya. And u and v must be differentiable, meaning pwede makuha yung kanilang derivatives. Now, the derivative of this quotient is this one. Y prime equals v times u prime minus u times v prime all over v square. So, we have here example. Bakit nauna na yung mga solution dito? Ayan, sige. Example number 1. Y equals 5x to the 4 all over 7x plus 9. So, we let u and v. Yung u, yung numerator natin. So, u equals 5x to the 4. And then, v natin yung denominator na 7x plus 9. And then, kunin natin yung derivative ng u at saka v. So, u prime is 5 times 4, that's 20, x to the 3. Because 4 minus 1 yan. And then, v prime, we have 7x plus 9. Itong 7x lang yung may derivative, and that is 7. And then, substituting that into the formula, this formula, we can have y prime equals v, that's 7x plus 9. Ayan, nandito. Times u prime, o 20x cubed, andito, u prime, minus u, which is 5x to the 4, ayan, times 7, which is our v prime. And then all over, you just square the denominator, or the v, 7x plus 9 square, and then simplify. So, simplify natin, we multiply this, 7x times 20, x to the cube, magiging 140x to the 4. And then next, 7x, we have 9 times 20x is 180 x cubed. And then next, we multiply this. 7 times 5x to the 4 is 35x to the 4. And we combine like terms. Sa numerator, nakita natin na dalawa dito ay may exponent na 4. So, combine them. 140 minus 35. That will become 105x to the 4 plus 180x to the cube all over 7x plus 7x plus 9 quantity square. So, yung ating denominator dito, hindi natin kailangan na i-expand. Okay na to siya because this is a simplified form. So, this is now our final answer. Rule number 8. The derivative of a function raised to a power. So, we call this known as chain rule. Example, y equals u to the n. The derivative of that is n, the exponent, n times u, and then subtract 1's exponent times the derivative of u, where u here is also a function of x. So example, we have here y equals the quantity of 3x to the 4 plus 5x raised to the power of 6. Yung n natin dito ay 6 plus, and then yung ating u ay ito nasa loob ng parenthesis, 3x to the 4 plus 5x. That is our u. And then n natin is obviously 6. So we need to find the u prime or the derivative of u. Kunin natin ang derivative lang nito. That's 4 times 3 is 12x to the 3. So minus 1. And then this 5x, the derivative is 5. So okay na tayo. Nakuha na natin yung u prime. Now, we can now use the formula and substitute the value. We have here n equals 6. Ayan, yung exponent natin, that's our n, 6 times u. So copy the u, 3x to the 4 plus 5x raised to the power of 5 na lang class dahil nag-minus tayo sa exponent. 6. So minus 1, 5. Times u prime, yung derivative ng u, na sinolve natin dito, which is 12x cubed plus 5. And then, i-simplify natin to. In simplifying, huwag na natin i-expand itong raised to the 5. So, mahaba masyado yan. Kung ito na lang, no? We multiply this 6 dito sa 12x cubed plus 5. So, i-multiply that. Magiging 6 times 12 is 72x to the 3. 6 times 5 is 30. This quantity times yung 3x to the 4 plus 5x raised to the power of 5. Okay, this is our final answer. We don't have to expand this kasi mahaba na masyado yan, raised to the 5. So this is in simplified form. Now, rule number 9. Derivative of the square root of the function. Okay, square root, like y equals square root of u. U again here is a function of x. The derivative is just equal to y prime equals u prime all over 2 times square root of u. So actually class, nakuha itong formula na to nung ginamitan ng chain rule, actually itong square root. Kasi tulad ng ginawa natin sa una, kapag square root, gawin lang natin exponential u to the 1/2, tapos gamitan natin ng chain rule, kaya nakuha to. So mas maganda, ito na lang yung gamitin natin kasi mas madali. Here example, y equals square root of 4x squared minus 5. Okay, so we just set u here. U is yung nasa loob ng radical, 4x squared minus 5. And then, kunin natin yung derivative nito, the u prime. That is equal to 8x. That's 2 times 4 here is 8x. Then, to the 1 na yan kasi 2 minus 1 is 1. But no need to write the 1 there. Now, you can now substitute in this formula. Okay, yung kanina. We can have u prime is 8x all over 2. Ang 2 dito class is constant times the square root of, okay, u. That's 4x squared minus 5. And then simplify. Because we can divide this, 8 and 2. We can simplify that, divide both by 2. So 4x na lang maiwan lang sa taas. Wala na tong 2. Final answer is 4x all over the square root of 4x squared minus 5. Ganyan kapag square root. What if kung other radicals like this cube root? Ano ang ating gagawin kapag ganito yung given? sigurado hindi na applicable yung formula kanina dun sa square root. So what will we do here is we will change this into exponential form. Itong given natin magiging y equals the quantity of 7x to the 4 plus 2x raised to the power of 1/3. And then gagamitan natin ito ng chain rule. Okay? Remembering the chain rule, andito yun siya. We let u equals 7x to the 4 plus 2x, yung nasa loob ng parentheses. And then of course, we will solve for u prime, and that is derivative nito. That's 4 times 7 is 28x, and then subtract 1 sa exponent, kaya 3. Plus, derivative nitong 2x ay 2 na lang. Now, we will apply the chain rule. Andito yung nasa taas. It will now become y prime equals 1/3. That's our n. Times u, which is 7x to the 4 plus 2x. Andito. Raised to the power of negative 2 over 3. Bakit? Kasi nag-subtract tayo ng 1 dun sa exponent niya na 1/3. So 1/3 minus 1, or we can have 1/3 minus 3 over 3. 1 din yun. So 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Kaya negative 2 over 3 times, okay, u prime, andito, 28x to the 3 plus 2. And then, we will simplify. Dahil may negative dito na exponent, we will bring this into the denominator para maging positive siya. So this will become 1 times this one, 28x to the 3 plus 2. All over 3 times this one, tapos naging positive na yung kanyang exponent. And finally, i-change natin ito, ibalik natin siya sa radical expression. So magiging, yung denominator niya is cube root of 7x to the 4 plus 2x square. Yung 2 doon, yun ang magiging exponent nung nasa loob ng radical. And then yung denominator na 3, yan yung index ng radical natin. And this is our final answer. We don't have to expand this square here inside the radical. Okay na to. Okay, other example. We have here y equals 4th root of the quantity of 5x square minus 2x cube quantity cube. Okay, nagka-cube na. May exponent sa loob at the same time napasok siya sa radical na may index na 4. So the same thing, gagamitan natin siya ng chain rule. And in order for us to use the chain rule, kailangan natin i-express muna ito into exponential form. So ang equivalent nito, ng 4th root of the quantity of 5x squared minus 2x cube ay ito. 5x squared minus 2x cube quantity raised to the power of 3 over 4. Yung 3 dito, ito yung ating exponent dito sa loob ng radical, and 4 ang ating index ng radical, which is 4th root, that's 4. And then from here, pwede na tayo maggamit ng chain rule. Ang ating u, etong nasa loob ng parentheses, 5x squared minus 2x cube. And then ang ating end ay 3 over 4. So we let that u equals that one. And then we solve for u prime. Kunin natin ang derivative nito. That's 2 times 5 is 10x. O 10x ang derivative nito. 2 minus 1. Kaya 1. 10x na lang. And then, derivative ng 2x cube is 3 times 2. That's 6x to the 2. Minus 1 sa exponent. Ito yung ating u. And we know our n is 3 over 4. Then, substitute that using the chain rule formula. So, we have the n 3 over 4 times u natin, 5x squared minus 2x cube. And then n natin is subtract 1. So, 3/4 ang n natin minus 1 is negative 1/4. Or 3/4 minus, ano bang denominator natin dito? 4. So, minus 4 over 4. Para mag-similar fraction sila, mas madaling i-subtract. Kasi 4 over 4 is also 1. 3 over 4 minus 4 over 4 is 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Kaya, the result is negative 1 over 4 times derivative nung nasa loob. That is u prime. So 10x minus 6x squared. And then again, dahil may negative tayo dito na 1/4 na exponent, we will bring this back to the denominator para mag-positive siya. So magiging 3 times yung nandito, all over 4 times this one. Ibinaba na natin siya, kaya yung negative 1/4 ay naging positive 1/4 na. And then ibabalik natin siya sa radical form. 1/4 equivalent dyan is 4th root of this quantity. So, yung numerator natin ay sinimplify natin. That's 3 times 10x is 30x. 3 times negative 6x squared is negative 18x squared. Denominator natin is 4. Itong ating quantity raised to the power of 1/4 ay naging 4th root of this quantity, which is 5x squared minus 2x cubed. And then itong answer natin na to can still be simplified. Dahil naobserbahan natin na itong 30 and 18 can still be divided by 2. So, pwedeng i-factor dito yung 2 para makancel sila nitong 4. So, factoring 2 out of the numerator, magiging 30x divided by 2 is 15x. 18x squared divided by 2 is 9x squared. And then from here, we can cancel 2 here and 4 here because it can be divided by 2. So, this 2 will become 1. This 4 will become 2. Parang 2/4 ay magiging 1/2. So, the final answer will be 15x minus 9x squared all over 2 times the 4th root of 5x squared minus 2x cubed. So, from these previous examples natin, yung itong number 2 at saka yung kanina, instead of using this chain rule, ay pwede pala nating gawaan ng formula. So, in general, pwede nating i-ganito. If y equals the bth root of u to the a, the derivative of this will become, ito yung formula na pwede nating gamitin as a shortcut kaysa gamitan pa natin ng chain rule. Na pareho lang naman pala yung result. And then from this formula, okay, let's have another example na ipapakita natin na pwede talagang direct na yung magiging sagot using this formula. We don't have to use this chain rule again. So let's have this example. Number 3, y equals the 7th root of the quantity of 5x squared minus 2x plus 1 raised to the power of 4. Okay? From our general formula na nabuo, ito na yung ating gagamitin. We'll just identify our A here is 4, B is 7. And then, ilalet yun natin itong nasa loob, 5x squared minus 2x plus 1 nasa loob ng parentheses. That is our U. And then, of course, we need to solve for the U prime or derivative of this. Will become 2 times 5, that's 10x. X na lang. 1 yung exponent niya kasi 2 minus 1 sa exponent. And then derivative ng 2x is just 2. Yung 1, 0. So no need to write here. That is our u prime. And then our a, as what I'm telling while ago, is 4. And yung b natin is 7. And after this, we will just substitute in this formula. Y prime now will become, okay, to substitute our a, that's 4. U prime, that's 10x minus 2. And then our b here is 7. Another b there is 7. The 7th root of u, 5x squared minus 2x plus 1 raised to the power of b minus a. So, b natin is 7 minus a na 4. Kaya, 3 na lang yung nandun. And this is already our final answer. O, di ba mas madali? We don't have to use the chain rule. We don't have to convert or rewrite the given into exponential form. Diretso na using this general formula for any radical function. Okay, for our rule number 10, we have the derivative of a composite functions. What are these composite functions? Ito yung functions na binubuo ng dalawa. Dalawang functions na pwedeng gawing isahan lang. Like this. Okay, ginawa kong capital Y here para hindi magkalituhan sa capital Y prime and small y prime. Capital Y prime here equals the g of the function of x. So let this function of x is our u. So if y is g of u, and then our u is the f of x. So to solve for the derivative of the y here, y prime is just equal to the y prime, this one, the derivative of this times u prime, the derivative of that. To make this clear, we have your example. 1, y equals 3u squared minus 6. And then yung u natin will be 2x plus 5. So we will get the derivative of these two functions here. Y prime will become derivative of this. 3u squared is 2 times 3 is 6u. And then 1 yung exponent niya, 2 minus 1. And then minus 6, 0 na yung kanyang derivative, so no need to write. And then of course, we also need to solve for our u prime. U prime here, 2x plus 5. Kaya ang derivative lang nito ay 2. That's our u prime. And then substituting in this formula, our y prime, capital Y prime equals small y prime times u prime. So i-multiply lang natin 6u, that's y prime, times 2. So it becomes 6u times 2 is 12u. So since our u is expressed in x, we have to substitute u with this 2x plus 5. Kaya magiging 12 times u na 2x plus 5. So 12 times 2x is 24x. 12 times 5 is 60. Or we can also do this. Y equals the g of the f of x. And then we have here y according to the given 3u squared minus 6. And then u natin dito is 2x plus 5. We can substitute that. 3 times 2x plus 5 quantity square minus 6. So parang yung u dun sa taas, pinalitan lang natin ng 2x plus 5. And then we expand this 2x plus 5 square. Square of a binomial. Ito na yung kanyang result. 2x square is 4x square. Middle term natin is 2 times 2x times 5 times 2 is 20x. Okay, remember the square of a binomial formula. And then last term natin dito is 5 squared. That's 5 times 5, 25. Then we will distribute this 3 multiplied inside the parentheses. 3 times 4x squared is 12x squared. 3 times 20x is 60x. 3 times 25 is 75. Then finally, may minus 6 dun sa dulo, minus 6. And then, simplify natin. Combine like terms. Dalawa lang dito yung like terms. Itong constant, 75 minus 6, that is 69. And then finally, using the simple rule number 1 to 3, we will just get the derivative of each term. So y prime equals derivative ng 12x squared is 2 times 12, 24x na lang siya. Plus derivative of 60x is 60. Plus derivative of 69 is 0. So no need to write. So the answer is this one. So if you can see, pareho lang naman yung sagot. So just choose which one will you prefer. This solution or this solution. So hanggang dyan lang class yung ating lesson for this topic. For your assignment, please try to answer the following items. For your exercises, find the derivative of this 1 to 9. Okay? Itong derivative ng 1, 2, 3, gamitan nyo ng rule number 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 and 5, gagamitan nyo ng quotient rule. And then itong number 6, gagamitan nyo ng square root rule. Number 7 is balik pa rin dun sa rule number 1, 2, 3, and 5. Or 4, I mean. And number 8, gamitan nyo to ng product rule. And number 9, well, this is a combination of a chain rule and a product rule. So please try to solve this. Okay, so until next time again, see you in our virtual classroom. Thank you for watching.